Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you clicked on today's video, we're going to be talking about books I DNF'd. Now, I'm not really big on DNFing. I absolutely hate DNFing, and my mom tells me not to use the word hate because it's a very strong word, but I really do hate DNFing because it's just like a little reminder of this failure to finish a book. If you hear any little like twinkling sounds in the background, that's Mipsy. She's playing with her ball right now, but we're just going to get into the books. I just wanted to say before we get into this video, don't come for me and my opinions. They're just opinions. They're just my opinions. I'm just Kiara, okay? If you like the books, totally happy for you. I get it. There are books out there that I like and people don't like. It is what it is. Okay, now let's get into the video. The first book, again, my little notebook here. The first book that I DNF'd is The Phantom of the Opera. I was so excited when I first purchased this book, and it was such a beautiful copy. And then it just started off slow, boring. There was too many people. There was too many like M this name, M that name, Madam this with no E at the end, Madam that with an E at the end that I kind of got confused along the way. And it was very different from the movie. And I know it's going to be like that for some books, but some books do stay true to the movie or some movies do stay true to the books. You know what I mean? And that one was just so different. And I much prefer the movie over the book. I feel like a lot of people might agree with me on that one. I don't know. But I posted about it on my TikTok and somebody was like they found it actually funny, but it is not meant for everybody, and I agree. It wasn't meant for me, and it is what it is. I've been saying that way too much lately. But let's go to the next book. The next book, and I feel like I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one, but Bunny by Mona Awad. I was well into that book when I decided to DNF it. I just didn't get it. I was so confused. The whole time I'm like, what am I reading? What's happening right now? I did look up in the end what was happening. To be fair, the whole plot and what I was reading now makes sense, but I still just couldn't get into it. And I kind of do have some regrets not completing that book. I ended up giving it to a friend. I was like, here, take it off my hands, please. I don't want it in my face. Do not remind me of the book that I purchased, I spent good money on, and did not finish, you know? But I do want to give other Mona Awad books a chance. So if you guys have any recommendations that might be easier to read when it comes to Awad's books, let me know. After that, it's so funny because I was just talking about this in my last book video, Dante's Inferno. I couldn't do it. I was reading it, I'm like, okay, yeah. You know, when it comes to that book, I feel like it's more of a like a brain food book or more like a recommended book for educational purposes. I get it, some people might like those kinds of, I wouldn't say stories. What is it? More of a poem, right? It's not my thing. Anything religious as well is not my thing. I don't know why I even tried. You know, I'll just stick to the as above, so below. What's it called? Rabbit hole. But Dante's Inferno was not it for me. I really did try. I swear. Then we have The Idiot by Elif Batuman. I didn't get it. Yeah, and it's not even like I'm reading these books to actually get it sometimes. Does that make sense? Like you read a book to just gain that experience of reading it, right? Sometimes you might not necessarily understand what's happening, and that's okay, it happens, and other times you do, you know? That one I didn't get. It was boring. I didn't like the the I don't know, just the whole plot was slow and I felt like nothing was really happening. And I was well into the book as well. I believe so, if I remember correctly. And it just, nothing was clicking for me. And it kind of sucked because I had high expectations for it, considering all the hype that it gets within the book community. This one, I feel like people might also agree with me, maybe. Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. I only made it to chapter 2. And I'm pretty sure I'm right on this one. Chapter 2 is where something serious happens. And please look up the trigger warnings when it comes to this book. Seriously, because what happens in it, they go into great details, and I could not stand it. I was literally at one of my old jobs reading it, and I teared up. I closed the book and I said, "Here you go," to my coworker. And I was like, "Here, you can take this book. You want to read something that's messed up like this? Go for it. Take it off my hands." I couldn't do it, and now I'm kind of scared to read any other of Murata's books because I'm afraid like her writing style is more of on the darker side, and I'm not too sure if that's for me. Then we have The Scarlet Letter, and the only reason why I gave up on this one is because the copy that I bought, I purchased it secondhand from a bookstore in my area, and there was this weird pattern on it, an orangey pattern. And so I googled what it was, and it turns out it was mold, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm inhaling mold, me the diabetic inhaling mold." Like, I just, whole conniption, tossed it immediately. But it was boring. I don't know if I'm a classic book girly, like the actual classics, not the modern classics, the like way back. I wouldn't say way back when, but you know what I mean. Then we have, okay, so these are two like self-help books. One of them is Claim Your Confidence, and I forgot who wrote that. I was just at a low point in my life, and I thought this might help me get out of my funk. It really didn't. A lot of the things that this author wrote in this book was like common sense, just things that you can hear any and everywhere, things that you've probably already heard in your life. And I was like, "Okay, girl, I get it. You know, you're so sweet for writing this book. I'm good for you that it made you money, but I know this stuff already, you know?" The other one, I believe, is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving Up. You know, the orange book. I don't know why I picked that up. Man, that guy made too many sexual analogies geared towards women and talked too much about sex and boobs and nipples and women. Like, what does this have to do with not giving up? I don't get it. I barely made it into the book. I'm like, I'm gonna return this one. And I did. And I'm pretty sure I got something way better. So those were it for the books that I DNF'd. And this was in the span of a couple of years, maybe the last like 2 or 3. I'm going to mention 2 books that I did finish. And I think I sold one of them and I kept the other one because I want to reread it. So the first one that I did finish and I just didn't like, these are just the low rating books, is Pizza Girl. And I forgot the author. I'll put it somewhere in this area, but it was just so anticlimactic. Like, there was this happening and then this was the end. Just like that, like the end. That's it. It happened all so quickly, and I was like, okay, after I read that. And it sucks because I felt like the plot was, it had potential. And then the cover was beautiful. I'll give it that. That was a beautiful cover. The feeling of it as well and the texture of the paper. I don't know if you guys care about that stuff when it comes to book. I definitely do. Fantastic. The plot overall and the ending, no, I think I gave it, oh, I wrote it down. I gave it a 4 out of 10. So on Instagram I do 4 like out of 10, but then in my little book journal I do out of 5 stars. I don't know what kind of rating system I got going on right now. It is what it is. And then the last book is Everyone Knows Your Mother's a Witch. Now, the only reason why I want to reread this one is because, to be fair, that is how people reacted back then when they thought you were a witch. Feel me? Just a whole bunch of crap, a whole bunch of caca. And when I first read it, I thought it was, you know, just slow because it was like that old English and more of like an investigation situation going on. But the more that I think about it, especially after I've completed it, and it's been like well over a year, it's very accurate. And I feel like I didn't give it the chance that it deserved. Now, I will reread it at some point and I will get back to you guys. And if it has a low rating again, I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to say what I had to say. You know what I was going to say, hopefully. But that brings me to the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoy, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time.